It's like my mom. Yeah. I inspired by the West Coast. It's got stores.
Okay.
It's easy.
No, but it's good. The podcast. It's ABC.
Yeah, ABC.
All right.
We're live.
Oh, we're live.
Are you on camera? Can they see you?
Welcome, everybody. You are now tuned into the heartbeat of the nightlife. This is the Djv Show, a 606 media production sponsored by That Flush. I am Big Z, and we have a great show tonight live from Fuego Logan Square. From the studio to the stage, we're talking turntables, tracks, and the hottest tales behind the decks. Whether you're cooking the beats, rocking the crowd, or just vibing to the rhythm of the scene, this is your backstage path to the world of music production, DJ culture, and after dark energy. Tonight, Djv sits down with our guest, DJ Flash.
Okay. I like that intro.
He's got the voice.
Seriously.
He's got the voice. Just
Oh boy, what's going on, fellas? Are we ready? We live?
Oh, we're good.
Oh, we're live. I think
Are we live?
we're live. We're going.
let them know, like, yo, questions, drop them in now.
Drop them in now. Drop them in now.
Let's get it going, bro. DJ Flash, it's been, how long has it been since I actually seen you, bro? How long has it been? 10 years?
10, 15 years?
10 years. And then what happened to you? How many kids you have now?
Did I know? No, 2.
Spit take.
Yeah, 2 kids. For real. Wow.
2. What
Okay.
about you?
I have 4 kids.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
married, 4 kids.
Okay, same.
Yeah.
Married, 2 kids.
So, met her at the nightlife, or where'd you meet her?
Through friends.
Okay, that's
Mutual
fair
friends.
enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Through mutual friends.
Really, man, dude, we talk about everything. Let's talk about whatever. What's something you're passionate about? Like, my thing is like DJ Flash, right?
Right.
You know, Flash is a comic book character.
course, yeah.
Where the hell did you get Flash from?
Everyone asks me the same thing. So check this out. I started with no name, obviously, right?
That was you
I
went by
was-
DJ No Name.
DJ no name, literally.
Bro,
So-
someone's gonna take that now.
I was
for sure.
Yeah.
DJ Flash.
Anyway, so I used to be a big listener of. Do you remember DJ Speed B96 back
Yeah.
in the days?
Who's DJ Speed?
It was
Yo, bro, come on.
I know.
Yeah.
So that was like one of my inspirations growing up, and I was like, man, this guy, like, he can scratch.
Who?
DJ Speed.
Okay.
I'm like, man, this guy can scratch. Like, I want to be like, you know. And I was like, man, like I want my name as cool as DJ Speed, right? I used to listen to the what is it, like the mix shows and whatever he had going on, and lots of practice, lots of and I was like, you know what, I want something like fast. Can't say DJ Fast, like it just sounds horrible, right? And I said, hey, how about like Flash, like fast? And I was like, damn, like Flash sounds freaking cool,
Right. So it wasn't based off the Marvel
No.
character or the
No,
DC character.
nothing. It has nothing to do with that.
Wow.
And everyone's like, "Oh, you like Flash? Is that what it is?" I was like, "No, that's not what it is."
Right.
But that's how it came out, DJ Flash. And then
How
from there-
important is that, by the way, having a good name? Because I say, hey, we're at Fuego, and everybody seems to know what Fuego is, right? But
Yeah.
technically it happened like this year. So it's like, it's been around, but it hasn't been known as Fuego Logan Square.
Right.
So every time I say Fuego, they're instantly gravitating toward that. So how important is having a name like DJ Flash?
It's your brand. It's your brand. You got to market your brand, right? Like DJV. Everyone knows who's DJV.
But why is it so important to get a good name?
Why is it important?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, it's
It's
everything.
Can you come up with a bad DJ name?
Yeah.
I mean, like people that actually do mix and have a bet. I know we don't want to like push anybody down, but like,
Right.
I mean, I'm pretty sure somebody that kid just started like, oh, my name is this. You're like, ooh, that's not gonna work, kid.
You know,
Something like
you
that.
know what it is? It's like you were saying marketing.
It's the marketing, man.
Right? Like you could have let's say it's Fuego Logan Square, or you could do let's say it's Grassland Logan Square. I mean,
Or-
your name matters. Even like bands, for example, like Weezer, or whoever, fucking
You know what? More than anything, has to be catchy, right? It has, to,
Catchy.
it has to sound good to your ear. If it does not sound good to your ear, it doesn't belong there.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So how do you do that though? Like so you said you just heard
no,
the inspiration came
it was
naturally?
just like okay, I'm not gonna say DJ Speed
Because DJ
again.
Flash is a
I'm like,
badass name, bro.
Fast, no. There was like Fast Eddie. There
Oh,
was like,
I get, bro.
and then I'm like, no, I can't
All
do
right.
that.
Yeah, you
Like,
can't do Fast
know?
Eddie, yeah.
And then I started
I
doing
got
like
it.
some research about like Flash, and then it was like Flash Master, and I'm like, well, Flash Master, and it sounds good, but I'm not gonna do nothing with Master or anything like that. And I said, hey, you know what, Flash, like that sounds in any language you speak, you can say that name,
Yeah.
Flash, you know.
Wow.
And then I was like, DJ Flash.
Nice.
And then
should it be bilingual, by the way? When you choose a DJ name, should it be able to go Spanish and English?
yeah, I mean, with me, you know, I was trying to cater to two different markets, you know, like
I'm
Spanish.
DJ B in Spanish. You know, the B is
Yeah.
B. DJ B.
DJ Bay.
Sucks.
No, but it's good. It's marketable.
It's still
right?
marketable.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
DJ
still
B.
marketable. DJ Bay.
Big grande.
Big grande.
Big grande.
Big Z.
Yeah.
606 Media. But
That's
like
right.
even like yourself, for example, like 606 Media, like DJs have to go, if I'm gonna do this, it has to be marketable, bro.
Yeah,
You know,
it
I
has
was
to.
Vialago. That's what I went by. My dad gave me that name. But then like DJ Funk is like DJ V because he could sell these records as Ghetto House. So I went to DJ V because of DJ Funk.
Mhm.
He said, you have to change the name, bro. I just can't say it. He said
Yeah.
Vilagalo, Vialago, but it wasn't like Vialgo. Like it was very specific. So I think names
And
important.
you know what? Now that you're talking about when I met you, I was like, you were DJ Vialgo.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, what is that? Like, it's catchy, right? But I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So, you know, you change your name, but I was like, I mean, it's marketable, you know?
Right. So DJ
Yeah.
Flash, it's crazy because now that you told me where you got Flash from, my brain took even now to realize that you meant you liked DJ Speed, the name.
Yeah.
And so you wanted the word speed. And so you use a thesaurus to find out another
Yeah.
way
I
to
was like,
say speed.
what's
Wow,
fast?
bro. Like,
Oh,
see how slow I am?
Go to the books, bro. Always
Okay.
go to the books.
See how slow I am? Hey, but okay, so there you go. So you said you heard something, you got inspired, and then you went for the name.
And I was like, I got to go for the name. I got to go for fast. Like, fast, not speed, because there's a speed,
Got
right?
it. So how
But-
old were you when you got the name and when did you jump into the marketplace?
I was 16.
Wow.
16, man.
How'd you do
Wow,
that? Like,
16.
who got you the gear, or how did you do it?
Funny story. I used to I got like a part-time gig from the city of Chicago. You know how the city of Chicago gives like jobs to these kids, right?
Yeah, the
For like 2 months or
the
whatever.
summer programs. Yep.
So I was like, hey, a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there. And then my dad's like, okay, like you want to do music. But I come from a background like back in Mexico, my uncles have a band, you know, it's a Spanish band and everything, right? So I have the music in me, right? But you know, just going back to how I come up with the money and everything, right? Just working, man. $200 here, $200 there. And my dad's like, okay, like I see what you want to do. Okay, perfect. You know, let me help you out. You know, my dad's not rich, right? Back then he was like making minimum.
So what was
wage.
that first gear?
Yeah, I was gonna ask the same
First
thing. What's
gear
the first purchase?
Was the Gemini, the one that you put the CD on the side?
Yeah.
Like if you jump, it
Ejected and
will
it came
skip.
at- bro. These were
Oh, I do remember that. I don't know, mix a little bit on that too.
And then a new mark with the cost pad on the top, a red one.
the
that you
DJ
can just-
Pierto setup, bro.
Oh my god!
And Pierto had the fucking. He'll be on the podcast soon, but
Yeah.
he had the worst setup, bro. He had these little fucking jog dials. You press eject. It took like 4 seconds to come out. It was the worst. And you got to put the disc
And then
in.
the song was about to finish. You're like, come on,
And then
hurry
it
up,
had
hurry
to
up.
hurry up.
load.
Yeah.
And the worst is when it loaded, but it had an error. So you would that you had that. How did you learn to DJ on that, bro?
So you know what? When I bought my first stuff, Junior Lopez. Funny story. Junior Lopez sold me the gear. You know, Junior Lopez been around for a long time. I was like, hey, what's a good starter pack here? He said, well, how much do you want to spend? I said, you know, $500. He's like, you can't get anything for $500.
Yeah,
I was
Back
like,
in the
wait,
day?
what?
yeah,
He
it was
said-
expensive.
Yeah, you can get one. I was like, well, I need two, right?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. Altogether was like 1,500 or something
For the new marks.
for the new marks. Yeah,
Wow.
back then, right?
So how did you learn
And-
how to? I mean, so what was your what was your technique?
Got my
Because-
stuff.
yeah.
Took it home. You know, there was no YouTube back then, right? It was just like, okay, like let me play with it. Let me do the fader here, the fader there, and then I used to listen a lot to the radio mixes at night, like
Who?
Friday nights, Saturday nights, like Straight Party, B96, like just all types of,
Mhm.
mixes. And I was like, okay, like this is cool. Like, let me just, it was from zero, like how do you blend the song, right? And then you start listening, right? Like you got to start paying attention to how do they do it? How do they do it? Okay, this is how you do it. Okay, perfect. Like, okay, this is a good mix.
It's
Or,
funny
or
'cause-
I thought I sounded like a good mix.
Right.
Then I started recording myself in a cassette.
And then listen to it back.
And then I was like, man, that sounds awful. I was
It's
like,
different when the
are
cans
you
than it is when you
kidding me?
yeah.
I was like, that sounds awful.
That happens a lot, but that's a good technique.
Mhm.
Because to this day, DJ should record themselves and play
All the
it back,
time.
bro.
Yeah,
You
all the
have to,
time.
bro.
All the time. Because if not, how are you going to get better?
Right.
Like you are your own criticism. That's my thing. Like, hey, you can tell me, man, you're good, but to my standards, I'm probably not that great. Like
Right.
you got to have like your standards right here. So recording myself, that playing it back, I was like, oh, that sounds horrible.
And so
know?
when did you know you were ready for the nightclub? When did you first of all, how'd you even get to that level? How'd you get to the nightclub?
There was a spot in Cicero. It was an old Lalo's. It was called Serenatas.
Serenata.
Yeah.
For months,
Wow.
it had like it was covered. I didn't know what it was, and I was like, man, like what I was like, I think I'm ready to put some music with people and things like that. And then my friend, I call him my cousin, Lefty, right? So he's like, hey, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go and check the spot out. Went in there, talked to the owner. The owner's like, hey, this is gonna be a restaurant. We're not doing anything when it comes to like a nightclub. I was like, okay, perfect. Just give me a chance. He said, no, there's no chances. Okay, cool.
Wow.
Just like that, right? I was a kid.
Yeah.
He's like a kid coming in.
How old are you?
Well, I am 39 now.
No, at that
That
time.
point.
Back then, I was like 17-ish.
Yeah.
You're a mocoso.
Yeah, I'm also like,
You can't drink, you can't do anything, right?
It's like, I'm not gonna trust a mocoso in my place,
Shut them
It's-
down and stuff.
Yeah, like no. It's like, okay. He said one party. He said no. Kept going the next day, next week. And I was like, oh, when are you opening? He's like, oh, this day. Perfect. The week before I went in there, and he's like, you know what? You just keep bugging me, man. Go ahead. What?
Persistence.
We'll do it on a Friday. And I said,
Ooh.
okay. That's
Wow.
fun. To me, that was amazing.
Of
right?
course, that's a huge night.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. Invite a whole bunch of my friends. And then I used to hang out with my friend Pity, was from a fraternity and all these stuff. And then he's like, dude, we'll throw this party. It's gonna be crazy. I was like, okay. I told the guy, it's gonna be a crazy party. Oh yeah, whatever. 17-year-old telling me that. No. 450 people showed up that night.
Whoa.
450. He was like, he didn't even have security. He was just running around like, oh my God, like this is crazy. First night, he went like just crazy. Like he was like, he checked his bar sales. He's like, I'm not gonna tell you, like I've done more money. Like this is just like, he was just mind blown. You couldn't believe it. And then from there, every weekend, he's like, hey, when do you want to go another
When
event?
do you want to come back?
And I
sir?
was like, well, let me talk about money now.
Yeah.
And, I've always been very smart when it comes to money.
Mhm.
And I said, no, like, thanks to my dad. My dad has always been like, dude, you put your price. This is how you do it. And, very young, he's like, no, that's not how you're going to do it. That's not how you buy your stuff,
Right.
So I said, hey, let's talk about money. We agreed like $350 back then.
For what?
For like, a whole night, right? But I was splitting it. And then I was like, hey, I'm bringing someone else. Can we do 600? He said, go ahead.
Ooh.
I was like, this is great.
You know what's crazy is that this is the second time I hear somebody from the old school
Mhm.
that got paid a lot of money.
That is
bro.
a lot of money back then.
Now it's like not even that, bro. Fucking promoters are cheap. They're like what, 125, 150 now.
I don't want to say promoters, but you know what? They're paying $100.
$100 for how long?
3-4 hours.
Oh God, that's $25 an hour.
Yeah. And I said, I made more than that at my regular job.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
The argument they have, by the
can't
way,
do that.
the argument they have, by the way, is that you just show up with your gear and you just play music in front of people.
Yeah.
So that's still they said you're being overpaid because you're coming in here for 2 or 3 hours. I'm giving you 150. Like that's more than the average person. So they justify it like that. And I don't want to name who told me to my face that. I'm like,
I think I know that.
I'm like, you got to be kidding me, bro.
But
Like,
if
that's not how it works.
yeah, but if you're a DJ who has a name and a following, they're gonna show up, which means he's gonna make money on sales at bar sales. Yeah, that's where you get paid.
And not only that,
And they might charge at the door.
yeah, the following, but the experience. You pay for the experience. You pay for the nights staying up and
Yeah, you
grabbing
put
your music.
the work that you did it beforehand.
Yeah,
That's what you're paying for, the
Yeah.
expertise.
yeah.
And this is the question I actually had written down. I'm glad we walked into this one. So, being a DJ in a bedroom on
Mhm.
Newmark's versus being a DJ at a nightclub every weekend, like that's a very different experience that you get.
Absolutely.
So, how do you like
How do you
talk about
transition?
that? Yeah, like how do you? I'll give you a more example. So yesterday I was at a party, private event. There was Don Carlo, who's a big wedding DJ. Mad Jazz, who's a White Sox DJ, and DJ Gordo, who's one of the most respected local DJs in Chicago.
Right.
And they just went off 30 minutes each person, and you saw their difference, their experience. Don Carlo was doing like some wedding DJ stuff. Mad Jazz was doing like open more to the public, and then Gordo just threw down. I don't know. He just riffed everything, bro. It was crazy.
Yeah,
So
on another
that's
level.
where do you get that experience from?
That's it
How
was
do you
going.
get that?
No, literally, it's no one said, "Hey, sit down and let me show you how to do it." It was just kind of like you grab your own style. This is how you can start doing it. It was a lot of DJs were like, "Yeah, this person actually showed me how to do it." Nothing like that.
So you never got a mentor?
Nope. It was just like do it on your own.
Oh wow.
I asked a lot of people
Okay.
that I actually have DJ before, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you do it like this, and that's it," But it was like, okay, cool. But me, I was eager to learn. I wanted to learn. I said, hey, I want to be good. Like I want to be out there. I want to be in the clubs. I want to parties, whatever,
Which
And
eventually
just-
got you some residencies, and you got what was the biggest part you would say in your career?
When I think I jumped downtown, right? When I met Beto, your brother, and everyone else, right? It was like Zocalo, right? Like it was just
remember
like Zocalo was a great spot for downtown, and that spot was like a classy spot.
Mhm.
Like,
Do you remember Zocalo?
Yeah, I do remember something.
and then Zocalo
The
just
mango margaritas were my shit, dude.
I know. I would see him.
Bro. I love Zocalo, but see that experience
Yeah.
allowed me to be more open because we were doing like Daft Punk, we were doing like New Order, we were doing like some merengue. It was like this mashup, bro.
Bachata. We even had some cumbias in there here and there.
we
Do you remember that?
we just threw it down, bro.
It was just crazy. But that's how it started. And then from there,
How do you break that wall? Because the DJ who's at the bedroom has to eventually break through. How do you do that, bro? Like, how do you test how do you break the limits from the bedroom DJ to the club DJ? What do you have to do?
You know what? It takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of guts.
It's either
I
you're going to jump
was-
in a deep end or you're not going to jump in.
You know what? Like, believe it or not, my first night at Zocalo, I was like shaking. Why? I don't know. Right? But it was a bigger spot downtown, right? People looking forward to go out to those spots. It was not like a Cicero Berwyn, small little spot. It was more like, okay, this is the real thing now.
Right.
And I was like, oh shit, like this is crazy.
Here's an interesting opinion. This is an opinion, by the way. What if we are the goats? The goats, or let's say we were the sacrifice.
Yeah.
We were the ones who played this music and broke through, and it was a risk.
There was
And
no YouTube.
There was nothing there. There was no number one playlist curated.
No.
Whatever. It was us. We would play some stuff,
So,
and to this day, DJs are still playing that
Yes.
same almost pattern. Like, dude, that's like old school.
25
like,
years later.
Yeah, it's almost so that's why they're better today to do
Mm-hmm.
it. Just follow the number one hit dance floor filler list
That's it.
curated by us who have done it before. We were the fucking reason why they know what to play.
Risk it. And
So
if it
how
doesn't
would-
work,
So how were you getting your music? Like obviously, like you listen to what's on the radio or
Back in the day, yeah.
back in Napster, LimeWire, and stuff like that.
LimeWire.
But you still have to like curate your music playlist, right? You still have to look for, all right, what's the hottest new cumbia? What's the hottest new bachata song that came out?
No, we
How do you get that
It was-
back
music?
in the
It was
day,
just-
we just threw it in there.
you know what? There was a lot of CD shops back then,
Uh-huh.
right? I used to walk in there and I say, hey, what's the latest stuff you have in here? Oh, this, I don't know if it was good or not.
Right. You have to buy the CD and listen to it.
And I said, all right, $25-$30
Yeah.
a CD.
Yeah.
I said, all right, perfect. Here you go. Funny story. Extreme, right? The bachata group.
Yep.
That's how I bought their first CD. I still have it at home, and their hit song, right? I was like, man, this is cool. Like this is a good group.
Yeah.
6 years later, it blows up. But I was playing it at Socalo. I was playing it at
Oh shit.
You're good. You're good.
Yep. No, okay. My alarm. My pills. No, just kidding.
It's all right.
Anyway, so yeah, bro. So I would say realistically, I think we being old school, we're one of the first ones to do a lot of new stuff, bro. And so maybe it's a bad opinion, but I think no, fuck this.
No, we
How
were
this?
we were.
I would stand on that mountain.
Oh, boy.
Because
Oh,
bro, like we were right when that song dropped, we played it. Like Don Omar
We-
just came out, right?
We
Right.
didn't
We didn't
know.
it was gonna be a hit record,
We
bro.
didn't know.
And then we played it, and the whole club's like, "Dale," like, whoa, like it just can't. Now everyone's playing that.
Well, that's what I'm saying is,
Gasolina
like-
shit. Like now everyone's to this day, like Gasolina still hits, bro. Back in the day, you had to experiment with it. You
That's
didn't
what
know
I'm
it was
asking.
gonna
Like,
hit.
where are you getting this music? Where are you hearing from Don Omar?
I was funny story. I had some friends, some Puerto Rican friends that will go back to the island and come
Yeah.
back, and they were like, "Hey, this is what's going on right now. Like, this is Pobre Diablo. It's like what's hot." And I was like, "Okay, I like the beat." He's like, "Play it."
Back in the day, I got it from Mi Gente.
Okay.
Remember Mi Gente?
Ah,
Oh my
There
yeah.
was this one guy who he had a reggaeton channel, bro. And he would like, if you went to his channel for whatever reasons, you could right click save as, and I would take his reggaeton tracks.
Oh wow.
All my reggaeton music was based on this guy on Mi Gente, bro.
Yeah.
You could just right click and save. And I did it. I swear to
Yeah.
God. And I had the bet I made reggaeton mixes like
Yeah.
that. Like we cruising the loop with DJV, all reggaeton. Where'd you get
Yeah.
it from? From this guy on Mi Gente.
Yeah,
I
there
was
was a-
just doing
there was no-
research and trying to figure out where to get
There was no
music.
JavaScript to
No.
like stop you from right clicking, saving as. And to this day, people still do that.
Yeah.
With YouTube, bro, people are ripping stuff off YouTube all the time.
all the time.
yeah, definitely.
So where do you get your music today?
My music, I got a couple different record pools.
Go,
I still-
let them
yeah.
know, bro. Where to go?
Record pools.
Which ones? Which ones? Come on, give them
so-
the juice.
Promo only. That's
They still
one
have
of-
promo only.
Oh yeah, but
Okay.
promo only actually took it a notch better. Pro Latin DJs.
What's it called?
Pro Latin DJs.
Pro Land.
Yeah.
Okay.
DJs. I remember there. I have like 3 or 4 members. DJ City. DJ
Yeah.
City is good, but it's a little late with their releases and stuff like that. But just everywhere. And honestly, now you can do so much research, right? You go to YouTube and you put top 10 songs of whatever.
Boom, it
Come
spits out a list, right? It's a lot easier, yeah.
And then DJ Flash Musica list comes out and they just rip that.
Just file save and that's it.
I'll
So
say.
now,
So is that
right,
what you do
it's,
today, just in case, or how do you?
No,
fish?
so I have, like I said, right, the record pools. They say, hey, these are the 20 top songs, but I'm not going to download all 20 of them, right?
Mhm.
Because it's the ear, right? I'm like, okay, this does not sound good for the club. I'm not going to download it. Or this might be a hit. I'm going to download it and try it tonight.
Would it
See
be
how it
something
goes.
like, oh, I'm just gonna sample this, or I can take this beat and then mix this into something else? Not really the entire song, or maybe not even the hook, but you find something with your ear, like, ooh, that's a good like.
You know what? With all the technology we have now and all this, the controllers where you can stems and do all this stuff, you can do that.
By
you
the
know?
way, Stems is Serato. I mean, they have it for record
The
box.
record box.
I don't use record box,
I do
but like
Serato.
now we have technology where you could load a song,
Uh-huh.
you press a button, and then the acapella is extracted, and
Yeah.
then you press a button and the bass is extracted.
So it'll separate all
It
the
will
different
separate
tracks.
everything.
Yeah,
Yes.
four tracks. It's going to be just the drum, the bass line,
Bass,
the acapella,
acapella.
and the melody. Instantly on the fly, boom!
Seconds.
Instantly, bro.
That is
Instantly.
that's insane. I mean,
And I remember
That's a
back
lot of
in
work.
the days
Yeah.
doing mashups was like, man, looking for the acapella. Hey, I'm gonna go to a place where they're selling records, right?
yeah, where they sell
get
the
the
singles,
acapella.
because you can just get
Yeah.
the yeah.
And
I remember
now
that.
it's just like now everyone's like, oh, I did a remix. It's a mashup, dude.
It's a mashup.
It's not a remix. It's a mashup. And new DJs. I have respect for every DJ, right? But the newer generation is like, oh, he did a remix. That's a mashup, dude. Not a remix.
Explain to people what the difference is.
So a remix, you start from scratch,
Uh-huh.
right? You start from scratch. Like if you're gonna create your own track, it's a remix from this song,
The
right?
acapella, or
Right.
just
Right. Or a bootleg where you're gonna put an extra beat on top, or you're gonna do little effects or whatever, right? A mashup, it's an acapella and a beat right on top of each other.
Oh, It's like regular DJing.
That's it.
Well, yes, but no, because
It has to be
they're
the
already
right beat.
together,
Yeah.
and then you play that live, and then you have that another one like that.
Yeah.
So you have like it's like technically 4 different songs in one blend, if you're smart about it,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, it's already blended together. So it's like Madonna and cumbia together. So it sounds cool. It's a remix, but it's really a mashup.
It's a mashup. Not a
Because
remix.
you have Madonna's vocals on a cumbia. Okay, understood.
Right. That's it.
That's it. It's not a remix.
It sounds.
It's a mashup.
No. I just wanted to clarify because
No,
I'm not
I
the only
know.
person that doesn't know this.
But I talked to a lot of new DJs that like it's the remix. Like, no, it's a mashup, dude.
Yeah.
Like we've been doing mashups since 2005 or
I
so.
mean, maybe earlier, bro.
Earlier than
Like
that.
my first productions were all mashups.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, Jokalicious.
Yeah, and see even that. So for back in the day, that's where Jukalicious came from. Actually, one of the samples I had was from Big Sean, not Big Sean, Ludacris,
Okay.
Shauna,
Okay.
getting some head. That song, whatever. I couldn't find the acapella, so that inspired me to go getting some head in the back of my Jeep because I couldn't find the acapella. So I just did that part, and it came out.
Crazy.
It came out to be really good. You know, so it's like,
if you think about it, with all the tools you have now,
oh, now it's easier, bro.
my God,
Man.
you
So,
do it on the fly.
So let's talk about how is that how you got on radio, or is that how you opened that? Because you
No,
do Univision. Like you,
Funny story. I hustled my way into the radio.
okay, so talk about that.
So I met
By the way, which radio?
Univision La Calle.
Yeah.
Back in
Nice.
the day. So Univision La Calle for
yeah.
7 years. I did that for 7 years.
Who got you in there?
I'm gonna tell you, it's a funny
Go
story.
for it.
So I was DJing. I met one of the MCs or locutores, right? Omar Ramos. And I said, hey, I want to be part of the radio. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, email your demo here. He's heard so many people do the same thing, right? Yeah, I want to be
Right.
part of the radio. Okay. And Junior Lopez was starting back then. So I was like, this guy's good, you know? Like this guy's really good. Maybe I'm not at his level yet, but I think I can get in there. You know, he's like, yeah, just email this guy. It's a PD, you know, it's a program manager, whatever. I email him, nothing. I I said, you know what? I'm gonna call. I grabbed the phone. I looked Univision Radio. I said, hey, can I talk to? He said, he's in a meeting right now. Master's calling. Oh yeah, I actually have a meeting set up with him. He's supposed to call me back. Bullshit. Hang up. Never call me.
Oh wow.
The next day, I said, hey, I gotta speak to this guy. Like we're supposed to have a meeting, and he never called me back. Oh, you know what? Yeah, he's actually off the phone. Let me. I said, yes, this is the time. I gotta sell myself. You have to,
Right.
right? You know, I'm sure he gets so many calls, so many demos, so many everything. I say, hey, let me introduce myself. My name is, you know, DJ Flash. I was already introduced as DJ. My name is DJ Flash. I send you a demo via. It wasn't via email. It was through mail.
You have to mail it in, put a stamp on it. Wait till 10 days to get there.
CD.
Yeah, CD, obviously.
CD.
Yeah.
And I said, what's up, man? And then I was like, okay. So he's like, oh, you know what? I get a lot of demos per day. And I said, well, I'm sure you do, but can you listen to it? He's like, not right now, but yeah, what's up? I don't recall us having a meeting though. And I was like, oh no, it was just to get your attention. He's like, you're a smart guy. He said, I'm going to listen to it. What's your name again? He wrote it down. I hear him in the background. He's like, expect a call from me within a week or two. I said, okay, if not, can I call you back? He said, absolutely. Hang up. 4 days later, calls me. I didn't know what to say. He's like, hey, would you be able to come to the station? I said,
Absolutely. Yeah.
I said, I can go right now. He's like, no, not right now, but can you come like tomorrow? I was like, yeah, what time? 10 o'clock. I was there at 9:30, just waiting in the lobby, like, you know, just looking around. And I was like, okay, this is my shop. You know?
Right.
Went into his office. He said, okay, like, this is what we do. We do non-pay radio time. And I said, that's fine. He's like, you're okay with not getting paid? I said, yes. He's like, are you sure? Yes.
You're going
It's
to be
like-
on the radio waves for the whole city.
He said,
to hear.
he didn't say there was going to be more opportunities later. He just said it's not paid. I said, okay, that's fine. You know, I was single. I didn't have nothing to do but just spend my time in music and get better and better. And he said, okay, perfect. You start It was like a Saturday night, right? It was like 3 a.m. when no one's listening. I said, okay, perfect. I was on the radio.
Right.
Perfect. As time progressed, 3 months, 4 months, the thing with radio, you have to be consistent. If you are not consistent, it would drop you from the mix show, from the radio show, from all the stuff. I was consistent, and I was even sending 3-4 mixes a week. He was just like, "What? How are you sending that many mixes?" So slowly, I started gaining more and more, open opportunity because he's like, "This guy's consistent. Why would I not put him on?" So then my slot went from 3 a.m. to 12, then 1, then 10 o'clock, and then after like 3 years, he's like, "Hey, there's a way where you can become an employee." I said, "Where do I sign up?" He's like, "I'm gonna put you behind the mic to do traffic." I said, "Fuck, I don't think I can do traffic." He's like, "It's easy."
You just read whatever they tell you.
Yeah. And I was like, he's like, "Yeah, you look at the computer, there's a site, you get the traffic, and you can do it." I said, "All right." First, it was an AM station. They had an AM station. He's like, "We have to try the AM first before you go to FM." I was like, "Okay, that's fine." First time, it was like not recorded, it was just on the fly. I mean, I was sweating, I was red. I didn't know what to do. It's first time. You don't know how many people are listening to you, right?
Right.
It can be one person, it can be 100, it can be 2,000, right? Did it perfect. He's like, "It's not bad." He's like, you got a good voice." He's like, "You just have to train it." And I was like, "Okay." He said, "You just have to break your voice." So I was like, "Break? How do you break your voice?" And that started. And then he's like, "Hey, there's an opening spot where you can do fillings here and there when people don't show up to work, right?" And I was like, "Okay, cool, I'll take it." So I was doing traffic here and there for for just a lot of AM stations.
Wow.
And from there, it came to, "Oh, now you're gonna give the sports, and now you're gonna do this, and now you're gonna do that." And then they used to have the famous Plaza Garibaldi shows.
Yep.
And they're like, "Dude,
September.
you're consistent. We're gonna put you on as a headliner." I said, "Hell yeah!" That was paid, and it was paid very well. Paid very well. I said, "Okay." You got to meet artists. You got to engage. You got to put yourself out there, right? And then slowly, after 4 years, he said, "Hey, I'm gonna give you your own show."
Oh boy.
Yeah. So it was my own show. It was the OMG show, like the Oh My God OMG
Right.
show, with one of the top hosts in Chicago, which was Omar.
Mhm.
He's an ambassador for Hennessy, or he's an ambassador for Chicago Bulls. He is so much.
He does a lot.
Yeah. So then from there, I became really, really good friends with Omar. We used to practically live live with each other and stuff. And he's like, "Okay, cool." Like, he's seen that I really wanted to grow in the radio and do all that. And he's like, "Man, right on, dude. Like, right on. Like, just follow your dream." And then from there, it was there for, man, like 3 more years. And then they changed a lot of the stuff in the radio where they wanted to manage everything from California and whatnot. So they let a lot of people from the radio go.
Right. They do a lot of remotes
Right.
instead,
So
right?
everything is-
Pre-programmed.
Everything was pre-programmed, right? That's when the technology was starting, and they were like, "Okay, now we can do everything from one little city and manage 30 stations."
Yep.
But that's how the radio started, and from there, I mean, it was.
And what
great.
happened to it? It just went away. What happened to it?
They eliminate the shows.
Why?
They say, "Hey, we're not gonna have anything local. Everything's gonna be streamed from Las Vegas, from Texas, and there's gonna be one DJ from Las Vegas or from Texas that's gonna be doing one mix show. That's it."
So what happens then? What happens?
And
to
then
the,
and then from there, I was like, "Okay, so what do I do?" And then I had some sponsorships from Mio, the drink,
Yep.
Mio drink.
The thing you
So I
poured.
was
Yep.
doing, so I was getting paid weekly to say I drink Mio. Crazy, right? $500-600 a week. I was like, "Yeah, why not?" And then they dropped that, and then the marketing team from Univision, I was not an employee anymore, but they were still giving me like gigs.
Nice.
It was doing good with ratings. So like, "Hey, how about Indio?" When Indio introduced to Chicago, like $1,000 a week just to say I drink Indio beer. Crazy. Like that to me, that was like just crazy. It was like I would take all the opportunities. I was like, "Yeah,
Of course.
and if it was non-pay, I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it too." And that's how it started. I became really good friends, and then once I was not an employee for Univision, right, it was still doing a lot of things for them, because the consistency and then just being there, more than anything, like the PD was like, dude, you're consistent. You know, you could have easily just said, all right, I don't have a job, I'm down, let's go.
Right,
I'm
I'm
bye.
leaving you. Right.
You know, but that was not the case.
Right.
And then from there, I started doing, I'm gonna start doing private parties, quinceañeras, weddings, and all that. Right.
Why did you jump into that area, into the era of like private parties, quinceañeras, weddings? Because I've done it before, and it's a lot of you have to talk to the person, sign the contract, get the speakers, hook everything up,
Mhm.
and not fuck up their party, bro. You know how
Yeah.
difficult that is, bro?
Well, they should give you some type of idea.
No,
of
because
vibe.
then you have
No.
guests that are like drunk,
Oh,
or they're like, or that they say play this song, play that song, and it's not even on the playlist,
Yeah.
and you can't do it because the guest is not the host. He's not
Right.
the one paying
Yeah.
you.
Right.
So you have this headache, and you're like, wait a minute, and then you think you do a good job. At the end of the day, you realize you fucked up because you're listening to an audience member
Yeah.
who's not even a part of the actual event.
because he wants that one song.
Well, we
Or
don't know.
she.
I mean, unless you're on point with your contracts and you're like have a good meeting. But sometimes you play a song
It happens all the time.
and then you decide not to play a song, but then they're like, play it. Why? Like you said, you can't play this. Don't play
And
it.
then I was like, yeah, you
Day
can
of the
play
event, you can play it. So like that, dude. To be honest, bro, and then being like away for so long, my brain can't justify that part. Just like I can't justify going to a club from 12 to 4 o'clock in the morning anymore. Like I had to, bro. Your whole Saturday's fucked, bro. It's gone. Your whole Sunday's done. If they book you, you're gone. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how much stuff you take, but it's pretty much from 12 to freaking 12. Bro.
Well, I
You're
wake
gone.
up at 10 o'clock in the morning.
That's just
Have
crazy
some
to me.
breakfast,
Uh-huh.
spend time with the family for an hour or two, quality time.
Right.
Like, hey, just quality, 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. And then from there,
So
load up everything.
What pushed you into that? Now that we're on the same page, it's
Yeah.
a lot of work, bro. So like, why into that marketplace?
You know what? I felt like I had already done the radio. I said, that's check off my bucket list. What's next? How can I grow? Right? I'm not on the radio anymore. How is my name going to be out there? Right? Let's take advantage and take this name and start our own business. And let's do parties. Right? I started basing parties, chook parties, right? And everyone's like, oh yeah, that's a different type of environment, right? But it's like now it's like, oh, my mom is having a quince for my sister. I said, great, I can DJ. And then from there was like, oh, my tio's having his 50th birthday. Okay, I can DJ.
It's like once you get into that realm,
Yeah.
then the referrals just keep rolling in.
Keep coming.
if
kept
you're
coming.
good though, if you're good,
If you're good.
Yeah.
My biggest challenge before back then was talking on the mic. I was like,
Oh, because you're the MC as well.
yes. So how do you announce someone's coming out to do a dance, right? Like, how do you start? It's not a club. It's not a radio. Like, you got to sound like the formalities are just different,
Yeah.
And you have to know how to do it, because if you don't know how to do it, they'll look at you like.
you talked about cracking your voice. How did you crack your voice?
So the PD was like, show me some exercise. Hey, put a pencil under your tongue and then just talk.
Under
And
where?
then, like literally right under like my mouth.
What about
and I
you?
was
Because
like,
you have a voice like that, like badass voice. What did you do? How did you crack your voice?
I just literally practice. Lots and lots of practice. I was
Wow.
very afraid when I started the podcast, and it was literally we would record on Sunday, and again, it was just audio. And then I would listen to it back as I'm editing. I'm like, I sound like shit, and I need to be on the mic. I need to
it
enunciate
goes
better.
back to
Craft. You have to put work into your craft. So if I know if I'm messing up, all right, if I'm slurring or if I'm not pronouncing or gotta watch my P's and S's, right? Do I have the correct mic that can take that? Okay. There's a lot of those things, little tidbits that you start learning as you go. But a lot of it is projecting it and using your diaphragm, sitting up
So,
correctly.
do you purposely do it now? Like when you're on, like, do you purposely think about talking through
No,
the diaphragm? Like,
I don't think about it anymore, and it's more
I'm
like
so used to it.
yeah, you
right?
get used
Yeah.
to it. And some people like, well, you have a different personality when you're on in front of the mic. I'm like, this is my mic on a normal,
I
day to
do.
day.
I don't.
But I mean, I think
I don't.
a lot of it as well is because I am a teacher and I teach IE, so I have to project my voice and be loud and clear
And a
It-
firm voice.
and very right, especially for a male. You have to be very firm.
Yeah.
And also, like, you're teaching and giving directions in a gym where it echoes, so you have to be able to project your voice to your audience and be clear and make sure that they understand. So like when someone comes in as a new teacher, I'm like, you're too low. Yeah, right. I'm in the back and I'll try to listen. I'm like, I didn't hear your instructions. I'm like, the kid that's in the back that's not paying attention didn't hear anything now. So you need to be firm and direct with what you're doing. And it just goes into the mic. So now instead of me yelling, and I know the mic can project my voice, but I want to make sure that I'm in front of the mic. I'm actually not like hogging it.
Yeah.
I'm not too loud. I'm looking at my levels. So there's a lot of things. So
what about breathing? Did you do some breathing exercises?
No, well, breathing is something that I guess I figured out while I was teaching. Like, make sure that you have a pause.
And you're not like,
yeah, and make sure it's a purposeful pause when you're talking. And I do that to make sure that there's understanding when I'm doing that. Now, if I'm in front of the mic, yeah, I'll make sure that I get my point across in a short manner, so that way there's reaction, someone can counterpoint what I'm talking about, or I just want to get to my point, get in, get out, and let someone else talk. So it's really depending on the media that we're doing. Where if I'm just interviewing like we are doing now, I'm going to talk, you're going to talk more. Yeah. I'm just asking questions because I'm trying to fish everything out. So it's a completely different animal. It just affects the different mediums that you're in, give it a different voice. So like when you're talking about you were on the radio reading the traffic, that should have set you up and gave you a little bit of confidence to get on the mic and say, oh, what is it? Ladies and gentlemen, walking in.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
No, because I didn't see anyone. And then when you're at a party, you have 200 guests in front of you, and everyone's like looking at you, right?
Okay.
So I was like, I can do it if no one's in the room. But when someone's in the room, everyone's like, okay.
So more like stage fright.
Yeah. And they're like, okay, what are you saying? Are you pronouncing it correctly? Okay, it's not Mendez, it's Mendez. And you're like, oh, that's the hard part.
Yeah, that is very hard. And I think when you're doing those type of gigs, you have to have like an itinerary of like minute by minute what you want me to say. And then like, or double check, how do you pronounce this?
By the way, why is even a microphone important, especially in the DJ, multimedia world, podcasting world, wedding world? Why is it important should every DJ learn how to do this?
Absolutely. Connect with the audience. You know, I've seen DJs where they're just literally like this.
And don't look up at the crowd.
Don't look at the crowd.
You have no idea what the feeling is in the crowd.
Engage.
You're just playing your set just to get in, get out, instead of saying,
yeah,
you know what? Let's see what's vibing.
Yeah, engage. Hey, who you are.
Yeah.
Throw yourself out there, market yourself, right? Hey, you're DJing at a Friday night, blah, 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 blah party, you know?
Right.
Say, hey, we're just getting started. Well, whatever it is, right? But don't just, I mean, at that point, I would just put my phone.
Yeah, the first time I got on a microphone officially was for high school. I was doing my freshman junior year homecoming.
Okay.
And I bought a wireless microphone because I was going to DJ for the first time ever and present myself, right? So I bought a wireless microphone, and I did kind of what you did, like away from people, and I would just say make some noise, whatever.
Yeah.
And I just did that, right? And then I would just say it loud enough so I heard it from the other room. And then when I went to actually do at the event, people were actually like screaming and stuff. And then it wasn't until I was doing a North Star party with like DJ Caffeine there and Mix and Mark, and I was like, make some noise. And everyone kept like telling me, Vic, you sound kind of weird, bro. You're not saying noise, you're saying noise. But it takes that commitment to do it. And eventually I discovered, like, even with this here, the earpiece I use now, the Shure, it's a voice cancellation.
Mm-hmm.
What I discovered is if you get one of those sleeping aids for your ear, it covers your ear to do this, and then all you hear is your chest. And when I discovered that, bro, that was it. Yeah. So anybody who's trying to break through as far as voice, do this, bro, and talk. And talk, and
you
be
can
like, hi,
literally
my name is Victor Alvia. I do this, and all of a sudden I can hear the vibration in my voice, and that's how I curated that sound. And that's how I got it, bro. Like, legitimately, it was me listening to myself from far, getting some cancellation, hearing it closer, and then experimenting with it.
And then you start playing with it. It's your voice, right? You're like,
did you have any? Am I the only one who's that crazy?
No. What's different for me, because I would edit my own show, so then I'm hearing what I'm doing wrong. So I'm doing it on the post side, rather when you do have noise canceling and you start talking, you're like, I sound like that. Ooh, I don't like that, you know. And then you can make changes. So like, I get what your point is. It makes a lot of sense, and if you can do that, great. And then I don't know how you got over being in front of the public.
Me with the parties was like this. No, literally, I was like, okay,
Behind the computer screen.
Yeah, it was kind of like, and before it was turntables or CD players, so it was like nowhere to hide. But I will grab the mic. I'm gonna go to the kitchen and say, hey, at this moment we're gonna do this, and that. And I was like, okay, that sounds good, right?
Wasn't too bad.
People actually pay attention. At first, it was horrible, right? Like you start getting nervous and people are looking at you, and you're like, okay, move on, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm trying to figure things out, and slowly, and then not only that, but you start learning from other people, right? Other DJs, right? Other people that
DJV.
DJV.
Bro, you know how many people like grab what I was doing back in the day?
Oh,
They would love how I'd be like, make some motherfucking noise. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. Like I would just like that guy. And they would just mimic what I said. Like, I don't know why.
The same thing, but in their own voice.
Voice. Which is good, which is great. Like I said, we broke a lot of DJs, bro. We broke a lot of talent, bro. Anyway, so wedding. So now we're in the wedding industry. Quinceañera industry too.
Wedding, quinces, sweet 16.
Talk about that whole marketplace. That's a booming business, bro.
That is a booming business.
Did you do it for the money? Is it for the money too?
The money, the exposure, the clientele, just everything. The love of the music, right? Like we love DJing. I love DJing, right?
Free food.
But it's also a different way of
Not all the
DJing.
time, man.
Like I was saying, like Don Carlo is a good DJ, and he was doing a set, and he was like, you could tell a little bit of wedding was in there because he threw it back to the classics, right? So there's a very specific playlist at a wedding.
Yes.
That today people are actually saying it's getting played out. Like this playlist is always the same now.
It's honestly coming back.
Yeah.
All the old stuff is coming back, right? Like it's actually rare if you hear like a DJ play new stuff at a wedding, because then they'll look at you like, what are you playing?
Yeah.
Can you play this song? And
You
like,
got to play the hits. You got to play the hits.
You're like, yeah, that came out like 25 years ago, but yes, I have it. I'll play it. And then everyone goes crazy. And you're like, oh, okay.
Do you like the vibe of the wedding, of the quinceañera, of that party?
Oh, yeah.
Is it because I mean, we did big events, bro. Victor Hotel was massive. We were in huge places, bro. Like shout out to Mauricio, to you, to me. We were on these platforms. The whole club was
talking
packed.
about Spy Bars, Zocalo,
Yeah, right.
Hotel, like,
and then you transition into like a more intimate place. The vibe, for me at least, is not the same. They throw out the like glow sticks and shit. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's not the same, bro. Like something about the ratchetness.
It is not the same. You got that right. It's not the same, but it's just now you're at a party more. It's more like intimate, right? It's more intimate. They're hiring you. They're paying money for you to make them dance, make them, make them clap, make them put their hands up and all that, right? So they're trusting you to do that. So now your job is strictly to do that. And it's like, hey, on the mic, 90% of the time it's just mic, music.
Have you worked with Arnold, DJ Spanish?
I have not, no.
He's got Fiesta Pros. He's a pretty big mobile party. So is Persist. I'm not sure if it was him on the podcast before where he talked about hiring out an MC. That makes life easier. Pay him, $150, $200, and then you're done.
I used to hire people from the radio.
See?
And I used to sell it.
So
I said, hey, if you want this person, it costs you $500.
So to anybody in the wedding scene who doesn't want to be on the actual microphone, like hire somebody.
Yeah, you can
outsource. It makes a lot of sense. If someone's
add
more
it
comfortable
to your budget, right?
Right.
Believe it or not, I've gotten hired just to MC now.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, MC, okay, 300, 400, whatever for formalities, and you're done. Okay, I'll do it, right?
And do you do it in Spanish too?
English, Spanish.
That's the thing I can't do. I'm really bad, man, when it comes to enunciating. And so like you might not notice it because of the production I make, but I really have a speech problem. I really do. Like I swear to God, I do. Like I stutter a lot. I don't enunciate correctly sometimes, and it's very interesting because I force myself to think about what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
So it's very interesting, but I can't do the wedding thing, bro. I can't be like, hey, Sabrina Rodriguez. It sounds weird, bro. Like I just got fired on the spot, bro. Ain't nobody gonna book that guy. Like like this. I was terrible at the
MC.
emceeing part for the fiesta. But when I say like sponsored by Bud Light, that's different. Every Friday night, come get lit. Like, yeah, bro. Or making like juke, like pump that up, or let's go drop. It's very different.
Yeah.
You can't do that with
different animal. Yeah, different animal.
Yeah.
And the thing is that now you're hosting more, and you are the vibe.
Right.
You have to get that crowd going, and that's a hard thing to do because the age disparity, right? You're looking at 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, teenagers. And you might not be playing the music that they like.
Right.
Yeah, that's why you got to stay up to date, with the new stuff that doesn't even sound like music no more.
So before I leave the wedding part, help the DJ get into that scene. What does that DJ do? Because realistically, bro, $500 for a wedding DJ is still out there. Okay, and it's a fact. And the quinceañera DJ for $500 still exists. Okay, the entire night.
Yeah.
They bring 2 big ass speakers and they're charging $500. Okay, which mathematically,
it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, to me it does, because it's just 2 nights. It's $1,000, right? But he brings us of shitty equipment, bro. It's just boom, boom. He's not really doing much, but he still gets paid because at least they brought a DJ, right? And some Latinos and some people in the marketplace can afford the $2,500 DJ with the fucking 360 photo booth that takes you to fucking Mars, right?
Yeah, no. That is too much. Believe it or not, I just upgraded all my DJ equipment, or $8,000.
It's just what I'm saying, bro. And then you got to put down $8,000,
and that's not even everything.
No, and I understand dropping money on equipment, but let's say you do get an opportunity. It's like, oh, here's a $500 quinceañera, and you're like, well, I got $8,000 worth of equipment. Is it worth me taking this new equipment there?
Well, you know what? You got to put your price.
Right. So what would be a good price? Starting price. Be fair, man. Come on. I'm not calculating you.
He's gonna get a lot of gigs with this video right now.
So
I know
a DJ Flash basic package,
10%.
Not even like 10 years ago or 5 years ago. When did you start the actual gig?
Like 10 years ago.
Okay, so what was the price then? It
was $600.
Okay, for how long?
For 6 hours, 8 hours.
$100 an hour.
Yeah.
I think
$100 an hour. That's a decent price.
Yeah.
Back then. Now it's like
with inflation,
with everything, with gas, equipment. Something breaks. It's expensive. You buy a mic, $300-$400. I just bought a wireless mic, $450.
Yeah. Shout out to Shure.
Yeah. Shout out. Hopefully they can sponsor us.
Yeah.
So now you got to.
I'll give you a small hack, because last year I DJ'd for my baby mama's. By the way, this sounds really crazy.
Come on.
This sounds really crazy, but come on. I'm giving you juice. Juice means I'm giving you real info. My baby mama's mom got remarried.
Okay.
And so I DJ'd for their wedding as a gift.
Okay.
$500 for the wedding. But here's the hack, right?
That's a steal.
The thing is, I had my guy who does AV.
Okay.
He did all the setup. So I just show up there, I DJ, and I leave. And then he gets the money. And all he did is show up and set up.
Okay.
And he leaves.
Uh-huh.
That's it. And then I show up there, I DJ, and then he comes to get his stuff and he leaves. So it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
Like one guy just dedicates himself to the music of speakers and everything being good. And then you go to their life to do whatever the hell they got to go do for that day. And they come back later around midnight to pick up the stuff. While I go there just to DJ. So you see how there's like a separation of work there?
There is.
That makes a lot more sense
I
to
used
me.
to do that.
That makes so much more sense to me. Like that kind of gig, I'm down for. But to me, I got to go to the storage. I got to get the shit out. Fuck that, bro. I don't give a fuck if it's $2,000. That's just, my whole day's gone, bro. Like I can't, my brain can't justify that part. That's just my point of view. But for anyone who's looking to do something like that, that would be a good shortcut, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I used to do it. I used to say, hey, you know what? I used to have a person go set up everything, go DJ, and then I used to go after to the club.
Oh wow.
So by 12:30, I was on my way to the club, because that's usually when the party's at. But I was like, okay, you're charging me $1,100 for rental. Well, how much do I got to charge?
Right. So before
$2,500.
Before we end the show, because we're at a very interesting part of the show now, but there's something that's really important that we want to talk about. Let's talk about the nightlife, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about nightlife and the ratchetness and the drunkenness and just the entire environment. Yeah. You hold a residency. Where you DJ?
7 nightclub Fridays and Saturdays.
How'd you get that?
Through one of the old owners.
Martini Club?
Yeah. Reached out to me, say, hey, I'm opening up a club. I said, oh, which club? Went to check it out. Say, hey, we're actually opening December or November. Something.
Have you been to 7?
No, not
I
yet.
think it's 3 rooms, right?
3 rooms. Fourth
Wow.
room is coming.
It looks terrible outside, but it's beautiful inside.
Is it like
Real
a
nice
warehouse?
spot.
Not like a warehouse. It
Okay.
looks like an
It's
actual
bougie,
like
right?
yeah.
Got
Okay.
white curtains and stuff. It's some place. I mean,
It's
last
nice.
time I've been there, it's
Nice.
nice.
Okay.
Okay, so then
We're,
industry.
we're gonna get you soon in there.
Get me in there. Listen, so now, so now but nightlife today and back in when we were doing it pretty much 10, 20 years ago,
Different.
the whole nightlife is different. I feel like we brought an energy that's not there anymore. Now, maybe just me being away from the nightlife, but when I go to these places, I'm seeing that it's not the same anymore.
It's different.
Bottle service is irrelevant. I don't even know what the hell's going on there. People are buying bottles, and all you see is the phone everywhere. They're not even like dancing anymore. They're just doing this the entire time we're doing that.
We should throw phone parties just with phones, because that's honestly that's what people do now. Like I see people with 3, 4, 5 bottles, and they're like just on the phone.
Yeah, just
Like, what are you doing? You just spent
What happened?
$800.
What happened to the marketplace? Or what happened? Just the age?
It's not technology.
Is
right?
it even fun anymore? Because bro, we used to go out there, margaritas. We had go-go dancers,
yeah.
right?
You don't see go-go dancers anywhere.
No.
I mean, they do. I know some of them I still know that are in the industry, but they're like at Tunnel or something like that.
But remember, before it was every weekend.
It was mandatory. Go-go dancers for $50 for the whole night, dude.
And
That
if you
was-
didn't have a go-go dancer, there's something wrong.
Wow.
Megaton was questioning, where's the go-go dancer?
so the industry just, do you think it became safer? I mean, they're on their phones, bro, right? They're not really getting
It-
belligerently drunk with Hennessy
it is
bottles,
safer,
breaking shit over your head. Like,
but
it's
now-
different now, right?
Everything's recorded.
Yeah.
Now you can't make the wrong move because now you're on camera. Now you can get sued.
Yeah.
Now you get caught. Now you do this. Now you do that. Like, it's just, you got to kind of just watch what you're doing, you know? And now people are spending $600-$700 just to drink off the bottle
Just
and then
the,
be on their phone.
just the profile.
That's
Just the- yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's all about
You
they're
know?
putting our content out there.
Did you ever DJ at Hearts?
I did.
Yeah. Have you been to Hearts?
That was at heart.
You know how intimate it was?
Yeah.
That was a vibe, right?
beautiful
Nobody was on their
place.
phone. Everyone was just having a great time.
Yeah.
That vibe is no longer in the industry.
You play one song and everyone was going crazy. You say like, put your hands up, and everyone was just like, you feel the room. You remember how hot it used to get in
Yeah,
there?
man.
Oh, it was unbearable. It was unbearable. I do remember that. You have to go to the other side to the bar
Mhm.
to cool down.
Yeah.
So now it's the bar scene. That's what's taking over.
Yeah.
So should a DJ aspire to go back into a nightclub residency, or should they try to be a bar DJ?
And you know what? Certain DJs will want to probably be like, oh, I'm going to go to a bar, right? Because it's a chill vibe and whatever. A club is not so chill, but it's the pay.
Well, they're not even paying that much, are they?
Certain spots.
Okay, help the club DJ. He wants to get into the club scene because now 125, 150 seems to be a minimum.
Yeah.
But
So-
there's DJs who do it for $100, right? So what should a DJ aspire to do? Because I mean, realistically, you're not going to get paid a lot of money doing it, bro.
no, not
You're going to risk your whole life for
if you don't
125,
have-
$150. Even the big names are like 250, 275, bro. Like no one's really going to overspend on that. And then, or let's say a $500 DJ, he's only getting like booked once or twice a month, bro. It's not really every day. getting
unless you
booked,
have
bro.
some heavy connections out there. They're like, hey, we got you once a month here, once a month here, once a month here. Now you're booked, right? But if you're not, and if you don't have that experience behind, right? What can you bring to the table, right? Like, okay, you're a DJB, you're a producer. What else can you bring? Can you bring people?
Right.
Right.
Okay, yes, you can bring people. Okay, perfect. Now your rate goes up.
But
from,
most DJs,
you know,
even that are popular, don't bring people, bro. We've hired the Goats in Chicago,
Mhm.
and it's dead night
Really?
because there's no one. I mean, the crowd is older now, right? They're not really like
they're not really
they're not
partying
lining up
and-
outside.
no.
They're not DJ Snake or Calvin Harris or like something huge, bro. They're like just their local talent, but their local talent is old. It's expired. It's like, okay, well, they came out, but I mean, come on, bro. Like, let's be realistic here.
And if you look at different markets, it's the same thing all over. Like New York, I got friends at New York, and they're like, dude, the nightclub scene is that.
It's more like a bar lounge vibe now. Well, I think as you get older, you kind of transition into that lifestyle.
Now you got to start tapping into the young market.
So that's why TikTok Live is good, or what do you think? The stream labs, like the going live now seems to
But
be it.
you know what?
Like the music right now playing is a DJ on YouTube right now. I saw. Remember the video we saw last week? That there's a guy DJing.
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
So that's blowing up, bro. So should we just aspire to do that? I mean, because back in the day, we wanted to be at these big mega nightclubs.
Mhm.
They're non-existent. You happen to be part of one of them though now with 7, but like they're non-existent anymore. So why not strive to be a bar DJ? What do you think?
The money.
It's the money.
How much does a
Money.
bar DJ get paid? Do you think? Less?
I think so.
Like 75 to $100.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, but it's you're literally. I mean, how much are you mixing at that point? You might even put a premix for that type of price. You're like, I'm just gonna play my premix.
Or because now a lot of the bar owners will be like, "Oh, you don't want to DJ? Okay, I'll play YouTube."
Which happens a lot.
And then I just have you for the closing night so people can actually see a DJ here.
Yeah.
That's it. Technology has helped, but has messed up. There.
So so okay, now let's help the young DJ. All right, so we know that break your voice in, do a lot of practice, get your music right, but then what is it all for? If you're not doing the nightclubs anymore and you don't want to do the bar scene anymore, what are you doing it for?
it's the party scene,
Yeah.
the private parties.
The private parties.
Private parties.
Yeah, the private parties.
Private parties. That's where the money's at.
How much? $2,000 a gig minimum? No, for real. Like it's about 2,000 to 2,000.
2,500.
I think
Okay.
Persist said
But
I'm not going out anywhere unless
I
it's this
bring an
much money."
experience, right? Like you can hire any DJ, but I'm gonna bring you an experience. What's the experience? I'm just not gonna give you balloons. I'm gonna give you an experience where I'm gonna be on the floor.
What happens
I'm
when you don't
gonna-
get booked though? What happens when you don't get booked?
That's with the newer DJs or newer companies. It's hard. You have to put yourself out there, invest money, right? Like now you can put ads. So every 5 minutes I can see DJV. You can book DJV, book DJV. Eventually you're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna book them.
Is that how you did it?
When I started,
How did you blow up?
when I started
Just
doing that.
it was all referrals,
Yeah,
or no?
and it's 80% it's referrals.
Because you put the
Referrals.
time in,
Yeah,
and the name is a brand,
right.
like you're
And now it's
talking
like
about.
15 years, 16 years of just referrals, right? I just DJ. Funny story. I just DJ for someone that a 50th birthday. He was like, "Oh, do you remember her?" I was like, "No, I don't." You DJ for a quinceañera.
Wow.
I said, "Wow, that makes me feel old."
Wow.
And then
It's a beautiful thing. I have a lot of
I
followers
was
that,
like, "Okay."
that booked me for when they were like a 14, 15, whatever birthday party I DJ'd for. And then in fact, Rico Suave is like, I know you from a private gig. I'm like, no, I know you from doing Vision nightclub. Like,
Oh
I don't
my
know you. No, I know you before that. It's like, oh, really? Thank you. Well, that's awesome.
Transit.
No. This is like a private party.
Wow.
So it was crazy, right? Like, so I mean, yeah, we make impacts. So how would you expedite DJ Flash today? What would you do? Like, if you started right now, you're not gonna buy new marks. What would you buy?
Pioneers, man.
Which ones? Are you familiar with what's out there now?
Man, everything is nice.
Everything's nice.
Everything.
Just
is
starter
nice.
pack. Like, the guy doesn't have. He has a regular job. He works at Starbucks as a barista. I'm gonna
You can
become.
start
He's
a
not gonna be DJ
channel.
Flash. He's gonna be DJ Flashy.
2 channel, $2.99. Get a pair of speakers.
Which ones? Do you know?
I like JVLs. I like RCFs, but RCFs are gonna cost you money.
Serato or
know?
Record Box?
Serato, 100%,
Why?
100% more reliable. I feel like it's more reliable.
Got
More
it.
reliable. I've always started with Serato.
He has money for just one record pool. Just only one. He's broke, bro. He's a brokey.
BPM Latino.
Okay, there you go.
And then he makes as many mixes. What does he do with his mixes?
Listen to them over and over.
What you
You
can
get
do,
better.
guys, just, record Serato, right?
Yeah.
You hit record and just listen to yourself.
Listen, just learn how to craft it and be better.
Should
and
learn how to
better.
scratch.
Yeah, why not? Scratching's a big part.
I think it's a lot of repetition then.
A lot of practice.
Get on the microphone.
A lot of practice on the mic. A lot of practice, during the scratching. Because you can scratch, but if you don't know how to speak, you don't know how to talk on the mic. What are you gonna do?
And then
How are you
now,
gonna communicate?
and then so then in 3 months, this DJ Flashy is now. He has a social media page. He's making mixes. Now what? TikTok? Should you do TikTok? How should he market himself? Like, how does he get out there?
Engagement.
Engage how?
Engage. Start knocking doors.
Just do what DJ Flash did. He bugging
Univision.
Start knocking doors.
Yeah.
That's it.
Got to go old school. Got door to door.
That's it. I mean, back in the days, we used to hand out flyers.
Yeah.
Now you have the same concept.
Yeah.
In social media, right? People are like, "Oh, I'm not going to spend for ads."
Yeah.
But you were spending $300 on flyers back then for 5,000 flyers. Why not do it digital?
Yeah.
If you are from back in the industry, right?
But remember, he's a brokey. His whole budget is gone. He doesn't have a $2,500 DJ Flash events. Okay, he's got like 250 a week maybe. Mowing lawning or I don't know. So then now he has that. He goes in and he becomes he thrives to be a DJ for like a quinceañera, right? It just then the trick is just to get that. Guys, if you have to get into something, either it's nightlife, bar scene, music production, or private events. That's the only way you're gonna make it, right? You're not just doing it for yourself, are you?
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Doing it for clout.
I think you should do a little bit of everything, become a jack of all trades, because if you're not getting hired for one situation, you should be able to market yourself for another situation. So kind of being, like I said, a jack of all trades. So yeah, if I'm gonna play, just lo-fi vibes at a coffee shop and I'm mixing there, great. Be the best lo-fi DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody might notice you and hire you somewhere else. It is what it is. You just got to be really good at your
all the technology that is, that we have.
Uh-huh.
Now you can sit in front of a camera and you're making money off.
Yeah,
your video.
you could definitely monetize. For sure.
You can monetize. I was doing.
That's how much. This podcast.
That's what we're trying to do here.
Right now, we made like $2,000 last Friday. It's a joke.
There you go. Oh, damn. So I was like, oh, really?
No, bro, come on.
No,
but by the way, people do talk a lot like, oh yeah, you can make a lot of money. I'm sure you can, but it takes a lot of work.
It's a lot of time.
So during COVID,
I'm sorry, you have a son or a daughter?
2 kids.
Son,
Boys.
daughter, boys.
Yeah.
Do they want to be DJs?
One is 11. He's more into soccer.
Soccer?
Yeah.
Because he knows.
Yeah.
There's no money in DJing. That's why.
He's like, that's not gonna pay the bills.
Thinking about it. I want to be like Messi.
Oh, that's it.
Yep.
All day, every day.
That's the money.
You know if you make 2 goals a game, you're like a star.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta do. And I keep telling people this for baseball. If you could hit a ball at 100 miles per hour in one full game, you're a star.
Yeah,
Did you know that? You
1
hit the
out
ball
of 3.
twice.
Yeah, 1 out of 3. You're great.
You're great.
That's it.
You're a star. So I would thrive to that. Would you push him into nightlife?
If he wants to do it, I would never push my kids to what I want to do or what I did. No, it's what you want to do.
Do you regret anything in nightlife at all? Like, I should have done this or I should have not done this.
Less drinking.
Talk about that.
Less drinking.
Talk about
back
that.
in the days. Like now, it's like you go to your job, you clock in, you clock out, right? Same concept for me, right? Not for everyone. It's not for everyone.
No, it was
For me, yeah. For me, it's like, hey, I'm gonna have 2 cups of water with lime, lemon, whatever you prefer, a lemonade, and then I'm gonna have the same energy DJing, right? I'm fully focused on who's here with everything going on in the club scene and outside and shootings and all that stuff, right? It's scary, right? Now I can focus, I can bring the best in me, music, just everything, right? And then I get to go home safe,
right?
And I mean safe because you're drinking, you get pulled over, you get a DUI.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You hit someone, and then you are done. Your career, it is done.
Right.
That's it. One night that you wanted to go and have fun because you were DJ Flash,
right?
And you just blow everything out. Like
right.
You can't do that. That's just me, right? And that's personal experience. That where I'm like, hey, like I'm not gonna blow everything that I've done, right?
After
that
you
I
built,
built for one night of tequila.
Yeah,
which we did, man. We did, bro. Like realistically, back in the day. I'll never forget. I had this one event at Victor Hotel. I was so lost in the alcohol. I was driving. I don't even know where. I was just driving, and then I ended up being in front of Victor Hotel again. It was all blacked out, all closed, and there was the fish market was there. And then the guy's like, "Hey, wake up!" I was knocked out with my foot on a brake. I was like, "Yo, bro."
Bad
That's
crash.
insane, bro.
Wow.
I had a really bad crash.
You got into an accident?
Bad one. With a brand new $22,000 car that I had back then. And you know what? Thank God, right? I'm still here. And those are learning experiences, right? That me as a DJ, as an older DJ, I'm like, yes, drinking it's fun, right? But don't ever put your life at risk or anyone else.
Anyone else's, yeah.
So is it really worth it then, right? Now that you're 41, how old are you now?
39.
39, yeah. So like we're older now. Is it it really worth it?
Absolutely not.
It's not.
Not for a couple $100, not for anything. You know,
Is that why you think the nightlife is shifting and just falling apart?
I think so, but I mean, you still see a lot of people drinking and getting out the club and driving, and I just looked at them like, dude, gotta help you, dude.
Yeah.
Like I hope you get home safe.
Yeah.
You know, because in a second, things can happen.
Yeah.
That's it. In a blink of an eye, and then you're like, oh my god, you kill someone. You know, something happened to you. You know, you didn't make it home. I mean, there's DJs in Chicago that,
Yeah, man.
you know, things happen to them because they, I don't want to say make the wrong choice, but
I mean, it is wrong choice. Do you have anything?
No. I was gonna ask about the difference in clubbing that it is when you started to what it is now, but we kind of touched on that. Where it's more of, you see, like mimosas, you know, what is that called? Brunches, mimosas. You see that a lot more. We talked about early off air about the coffee vibe, you know, DJs, you know, at a coffee shop.
Which is blowing up, the coffee vibe.
Oh
Right.
yeah, it's everywhere now.
Yes.
So yeah, it's like it's a different atmosphere, and again, like a lot of people are not drinking, they're not popping bottles. You know, back in the day, a lot of people, like you said, they're just profiling, just filming themselves at a
Show
location,
vibes.
right?
That's it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess it's different, but as a DJ, I guess you have to adapt to the environment that's being presented to you. So yeah, we can't do the crazy nightlife stuff that we had a lot of fun with, but at the same time, you can still make a great living, you know, DJ in Wicker Park at one of those coffee shops, or, you know, let's say if they have a mimosa every day, every Sunday. Guess what? That still can make you a lot of money.
Oh yeah, you just gotta be consistent.
So just so I have this all packaged, because what I got from you is that if you're going to do radio, or if you want to get on radio, be persistent, right?
Yep.
Be persistent, get on their asses, knock on their door, nail them out, call them up, do whatever it takes to get in front of them, because your mix might be able to be on radio, which opens up to more opportunities. And then eventually you got one. You didn't really say how much you got paid for, but what would be a good way to help the person say, okay, now you're on morning radio. Like what can you expect to make from that? Because these kids they can get undercut like that.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
should they even thrive or drive to be a part
I don't
of it?
know if radio pays nowadays, because now
Right.
you have Spotify,
Which is-
you have YouTube,
Pandora, you have all these,
Pandora.
yeah,
So
everything
I don't know
streamed
if
now.
it pays now.
So then good.
But-
I'm glad you said
But
that.
I was making my money on the sponsorships.
Right.
Like I had 3-4
And
sponsorships,
how do you get the sponsorship?
ratings.
Rating. So you have to take the free hit.
Yeah.
And so if you go on radio, you're not going to get paid. I've always said this. Don't expect to get paid on radio. You get exposure,
Which is huge.
which is massive.
Yeah.
And then you can use that to come to your website.
Mhm.
If you make music now, and I'm saying what you're saying, look for sponsors, man. You know, mention that new coffee that launched in Bucktown. You know, they'll pay you for that for sure,
Yeah.
because you're on
Right.
radio.
Yeah.
And then the next part would be residency spots. This would open more doors. What's a good starting rate for resident for DJ Flashy? He's a brokey, but now he's got the residency. They're offering him a gig. He goes to his dad. Is like, I don't know, fucking charge him $1,000, but that's not realistic. So he
Right.
tuned into the Djv show, and here's DJ Flash. Give us your advice. Well, how much did you charge?
At least $100 an hour, man. You know, you can't sacrifice your hour.
Good.
That
And then
was money.
he goes to this event, and then here comes Quinceañera Miranda, and she's like, oh my gosh, whatever, I want you for she's not 15. Let me say this again. The 18-year-old Miranda
The mom.
says,
mom.
I want you to DJ for whatever. Okay, so then you get hired for a private gig. How much am I investing for the gear? And if I do have that gear, how much am I charging for the event?
The gear, at least
First gig, bro.
2,000.
2,000. What did they say? No.
Easy.
Oh,
They
no,
said-
not investing. How much do you pay for the gig? Like, how much do they pay you?
Oh, how much they
your
pay you?
first wedding, your first quinceañera.
At least 1,000, man. At least.
There you go.
And that includes
least.
everything, the little lights that go circles and shit.
Lights, basic package.
basic package.
Yeah, it
Bought on
doesn't include-
Amazon.
Because
DJ
now,
Flashy, my guy.
now it's you have photo booth, which I have a photo booth. Me and my wife run a photo booth business.
This guy's fucking rich.
No, I wish.
Motherfucker got
Not,
money,
not,
dude.
not DJB.
Jesus Christ, bro. That guy got some money. You said photo booth, bro. I'm not gonna anyway. So point is, that's how you get your first gig.
Yeah.
And then you build on it.
Build on it. Relationships, right? Make that party like everyone knows you. Introduce yourself, right? Hey, my name is this. What do you think about the party? What do you think about this? What do you think? Would you hire me? Yes. Here's my business card.
And the name is important. Let's not be
Yes.
yes, bro. Because
Yes.
DJ Flash is a pretty cool name, bro. Okay.
Yeah. No, the name is important. It's catchy, right?
Yeah.
You gotta have
Gotta be
something
creative.
that
Gotta be
you
creative.
gotta be able to market yourself, right? That's just the bottom line, like market yourself,
Right.
put yourself out there, knock doors. If you don't knock enough doors, if you're not having enough
Right.
gigs, you're not knocking enough doors.
So, and last thing, if you were to give your legacy, last piece of advice, like son, daughter, or your sons, here's my advice to you, because maybe one day they'll tune in and they'll hear this podcast. What would you want to tell them?
Hustle. Don't give up. That's it, man. Don't give up. Because the minute you give up, it's when you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna throw the towel and not do it. And that's what kept us going. We never gave up.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Djv Show, and I am Big Z, and we are sponsored by Dat Slush, 606 Media, and Fuego Logan Square. Remember to come to 3534 West Fullerton at Fuego Logan Square to get your food and awesome drinks here. So we'll be back next week. Do we have are we dropping a name this week, or are you gonna let me not okay, thank you. So we'll be back next week with another DJ, another big name. Stay tuned for the announcement on 606 Media. He's on a DJV on the Instagram. So follow us on there on our socials.
Okay.
We'll be back next week. And remember, music is life.
Yes, sir.